So I have given this question as a homework yesterday. I told we'll be solving it today. I'll give you 5 more minutes to solve this question. So we'll discuss the solution after that. Okay. So it's given that in a simply supported beam loaded as shown in the figure below, the maximum bending moment in Newton meter is. So here they are asking the value of maximum bending moment. So as we don't know the location where the maximum bending moment will occur, so we should draw the whole bending moment diagram for this question. If you see the first step which we discussed yesterday, after transferring the load, you will be having a 100 Newton downside and there is a clockwise moment of 10 Newton meter. This distance is equal to 0.5 meter. This is equal to also 0.5 meter. So we should get the value of the maximum bending moment. So here this x-axis is varying like this. This is origin. Now here, as the point moment and the point load are acting at the center, we should do the cutting twice. So one cut before this, another cut after this. So now if you are taking the left part of the first cut, x is lying from 0 to 0.5 open interval. So I am taking the distance as x. So first of all, we should get the value of R1 and R2. So if you apply equilibrium condition, sigma Fi is equal to 0, you will get R1 plus R2 is equal to 100 Newton. Sigma Mz is equal to 0. You can take about any point. I am taking about this point because R1 will not be there in the equation. 100 into 0.5 clockwise, R2 into 1 anti-clockwise, and 10 clockwise is equal to 0. This gives you R2 value as 60 Newton. R2 is 60 means R1 is equal to 40 Newton. So R1 is equal to 40. So we have to get the value of bending moment. So I'm not concerned about the shear force. So this gives us M minus 40x is equal to 0. M is equal to 40 into x. Now if we take the left part of the second cut, so x will be lying from 0.5 to 1. X will be lying from 0.5 to 1. So this is 40. This is 100 Newton. And here there is clockwise moment of 10 Newton meter. And this is the moment here. This distance is x. M clockwise, M anti-clockwise, 40 into x clockwise, 10 clockwise, 100 into x minus 0.5 anti-clockwise. So this gives us M minus 40x minus 10 plus 100x minus 50 is equal to 0. So M plus 60x minus 60 is equal to 0. M is equal to 60 minus 60 into x. So if you plot the diagram, from 0 to 0.5, this is the equation. At x is equal to 0, M is equal to 0. X is equal to 0.5, M is equal to 20 Newton meter. From x is equal to 0.5 to 1, this is the equation. X is equal to 0.5, it is equal to 30. So suddenly the bending moment shifts to 30. And at x is equal to 1, it is equal to 0. You get like this. So here there is a discontinuity at x is equal to 0.5. Understand? The discontinuity is happening due to application of moment. Okay? The moment is not there, it should have become simple triangle as we have seen in the previous examples we discussed in the previous class. So from the diagram we can say the maximum value of bending moment. So bending moment maximum from the graph is nothing but 30 Newton meter. So 30 Newton meter is the answer for this question. So the answer is B here. Okay? I hope there is no doubt. Let's go ahead. So like I said in the previous class, we are going to see some more shortcuts in this particular section. Kindly copy the solution. Once it's over, please let me know. Okay. So everyone listen carefully. So here we are going to do some mathematical derivations to understand the relationship between load intensity Q, shear force and bending moment. So they are pretty easy. Okay. So I mean, though the derivations will be a little bit boring, the final results are very easy to remember. And they help you to answer many questions very easily. So they can reduce your effort in solving a question maybe from 20 minutes to some 2 minutes. So that amount of difference can come. So I'll explain the shortcuts, then later we'll see a question. So where you'll understand how significant are these shortcuts. Okay. So before going into this, you should understand one concept which is already known to you people. It's a simple revision. We know that if a function is there, y is equal to f of x, y is equal to f of x. So wherever the function is maximum, at that location slope is equal to 0. Understand? This is very much clear to us. But the reverse statement is not true. That is, wherever slope is 0, I can't say at all the locations the function is maximum. Because wherever slope is 0, there it can have a local maximum, local minimum, global maximum, global minima. Understand? Okay, so we can't every time say that everywhere the slope is 0 means that it's nothing but a global maximum. So we should remember the statement that wherever function is maximum, slope should be 0. Wherever slope is 0, that doesn't mean that the function is going to be maximum at that location. Okay. Another thing is, these statements are valid for the condition or for the terms and condition that at all the locations along the length of the beam, or strictly speaking, at all the locations along the function or in the range of the function should have, or the function should be completely differentiable and it should be continuous. So the statement we said, I'm telling that it is valid only when the function is continuous and differentiable throughout the range. Clear? So we are going to apply this result into our concept, which we're going to discuss now. So where we are going to find out the relationship between Q and shear force and bending moment. So two conditions we are going to see. So first one, I'm going to find out the relationship between Q and shear force. Relationship between intensity Q and shear force. Okay. Understand this derivation carefully. Though it is not important in terms of solving questions, it's good if you understand the derivation, how it is coming up. I'll just explain the derivation for this part here. The other one, I'll directly give the result so that I will not get bored at all, because the mathematical calculation is more or less same. I'm taking a beam. The beam is like this. Let's assume over certain portion along the length, intensity is equal to given by Q Newton per meter. Okay. So here I'm interested in finding out the variation of shear force over this distance dx. Okay. So if you take this portion, it is like this. It is the right part of the first cut. It is left part of the second cut. I've taken this portion, so this is first cut and this is second cut. So you guys know that according to our sign convention, here shear force should be taken downside and here shear force should be taken upside. So I'm taking V plus dV because shear force will change. And here we have the load intensity, which is uniform, that is Q, over this length, the dx. So we should get the relationship between V and Q. So let's apply equilibrium condition. So from the condition that net force in y direction is equal to 0, this gives us minus V minus Q into dx plus V plus dV is equal to 0. This gives us the result that dV by dx is equal to Q. dV by dx is equal to Q here. Understand? That means it is giving us the result that slope of the shear force diagram is nothing but the magnitude of load intensity. So we got the result between Q and shear force, that's hence slope of shear force diagram at that location is equal to magnitude of load intensity. So hence slope of the shear force diagram at that location is equal to the magnitude of load intensity. Okay, clear? And again the statement will be there. So we are talking about the shear force diagram. So here the above statement is valid. So note point is SFD should be continuous and differentiable at that location. considered as UDL only. Chandresh, though we are taking the example of UDL, that means load intensity is constant along the length here, this result is valid for everything. That means if you take a varying type of load, that means like intensity is going on increasing linearly, so you'll be having increase of shear force in that way. That means you have a slope of the shear force diagram is equal to load intensity, right? So if the load intensity is going on increasing along this length dx, so slope of the shear force diagram will also increase in that way. I hope you got the point, Chandresh. Clear? Understood? Kindly copy this. We'll go ahead with the second one, that is relationship between shear force and bending moment, and very famous result. So today we'll be completing this chapter and then we'll be going into the next chapter, that is stresses in beams. So the stresses in beams topic is completely based upon the shear force diagram, bending moment diagram only, because you're going to use these results to get shear stress and bending stress. So I can say this is shortcut number 3 in terms of the number we are giving to shortcuts, indexing for shortcuts. You can take it as shortcut number 3. So we are going to the second result, or shortcut number 4. Second result under this section, or shortcut number 4. So we are going to get the relationship between shear force and bending moment. So here I am not doing the derivation. So if you do the derivation the same way, we will get the result that V is equal to dm by dx. V is equal to dm by dx, or dm by dx is equal to V. So this gives us that, or this implies that slope of bending moment diagram gives us the value of shear force at that location. Okay, it's very obvious. Understand? So we didn't went beyond this slope and our slope thing in the previous case. Okay, because it's not that much required. I wish I had I feel we can write down the remaining other results also for the previous case, but not required. That's why I haven't written them unnecessarily. Why to take everything into consideration? Okay. So here I am going with remaining results. You can understand from this and you can correlate it to those things. Here we understood simply from the equation that slope of the bending moment diagram is equal to shear force. Okay. Now, if you have a scenario where dm by dx is equal to 0, sorry, I'll put it in this way. Wherever bending moment is maximum, at bending moment maximum, we have dm by dx as 0 here. Is it right? Of course, because the location where function is maximum, at that location it will have its slope is equal to 0. From this we can say this implies that shear force is equal to 0 here. So we understood that at the location where bending moment is maximum, our shear force value will be equal to 0. The location where bending moment is maximum will be having shear force value is equal to 0 here. Okay, understood? And other thing here, we are deriving bending moment diagram with respect to x. We are deriving bending moment diagram with respect to x to get the value of shear force here. So this bending moment diagram will be 1 degree higher than shear force. Bending moment diagram will be 1 degree higher than shear force diagram, because here, for example, bending moment diagram is x square. Shear force diagram will become x. So 1 degree is being decreased to get the value of shear force. So you can write down. So bending moment diagram will be 1 degree higher than shear force. Okay. So same way you can write down these two results for similar. These two results for the previous case as well, but not required. That's why I haven't made you to copy. Understand? Clear? So, but from this similar result that Q is equal to dV by dx, you can understand like shear force diagram will be 1 degree higher than load intensity diagram. Okay. Another thing you can say that wherever shear force is maximum, the load intensity should be equal to 0, because slope will be equal to 0 there. Okay. Slope of the shear force diagram is equal to 0 there. And again, we can say all these results having the condition that the bending moment diagram is continuous at every location, or at least the location where we are doing this discussion. Clear? It should be continuous and differentiable at that location. You can copy. So here the note point is bending moment diagram should be continuous and differentiable at that location along the length of the beam. So I hope there is no doubt. So this result is very important. So many times questions are asked on this, and they're pretty easy as well. So all you have to do is derive the bending moment diagram with respect to x to get the shear force value. They are given the bending moment diagram and they're asking us to get the value of shear force. It's very clear for us that already the slope of the bending moment diagram is equal to shear force. So we can take the slope of the bending moment diagram to get the value of shear force. So here if you see at section AA, the function is horizontal. The bending moment diagram is horizontal. So obviously the slope is 0. So shear force is equal to 0 here. So if you see the options, option C and option B are having or showing that slope at sections AA is 0. So either option B or C is right. Okay. If you have this opportunity to narrow down to single option, then we can directly go ahead and tick that option and go ahead into the next question. But as we are unable to narrow down to single option, so we have to do the calculation for shear force at section BB as well. So if you see the slope at section BB, it's a line, straight line like this. And here, if you see the diagram, the location here is 1, and here the bending moment value is kilonewton meter, and this is 3, and the bending moment magnitude is 200 kilonewton meter. So slope is nothing but 200 minus 100 kilonewton meter whole by 3 minus 1 meter. So m comes out to be 100 by 2, 50 kilonewton. So this is the value of shear force. So 0, 50 is the right answer. So the answer is nothing but C. Very easy question. Let's go ahead into another easy question based upon the same condition. You can copy and get the answer. I'm rubbing the board. Yeah. So 110 is the right answer. It's given that for a loaded cantilever beam of uniform cross section, the bending moment in Newton millimeter along the length is m of x is equal to 5x square plus 10x, where x is the distance in millimeter measured from the free end of the beam. The magnitude of shear force in the cross section at x is equal to 10 millimeters is. So here they given the bending moment equation, but here they are giving the value of x in millimeters. They are taking distance in millimeters and force in Newton, and they are getting the value of bending moment in Newton millimeter. So in this one, at x is equal to 10 millimeter, they are asking us the value of shear force in Newton. So simply we should take the slope and substitute the value of x as 10 millimeters itself. So we have m is equal to 5 square plus 10x, and so dm by dx is shear force. It comes out to be 10x plus 10. So V at x is equal to 10 comes out to be 100 plus 10. So here I'm directly substituting in millimeters because the function is in terms of millimeters only. Here x is millimeters everywhere. So this comes out to be 110 Newton because we are substituting force in Newton here. Very easy question. What is the answer for this question? True or false? Very good. The answer is false. It's written that at the point of maximum shear force, bending moment is 0. No. We discussed that at the point of maximum bending moment, shear force should be 0, provided that bending moment diagram is continuous and differentiable along the length of the beam. Okay. So here they're talking that maximum shear force location, at the location where maximum shear force is occurring, bending moment is 0. So which is wrong. Okay. So the statement for this, the answer for this question is false. Okay. So we are entering into another shortcut and last and very important shortcut. Last and like relatively important shortcut. Okay, so it can help you to draw the shear force diagram very fast when there are only point loads. So if you have a loading condition, there are only point loads. That means due to applied loads and our supports, there are only point loads. Then you can simply draw the shear force diagram just by using this technique, just by looking at the diagram. You can save huge amount of time. Okay, so before that, I would like to tell you how this shortcut is coming into existence. What is the condition from which the shortcut is coming into existence? It is coming into existence based upon the condition that the relationship between V and P. That means, what is the relationship between shear force V and applied load P? That means, due to the applied load P, what is the change of shear force? Due to the applied load P, what is the change of shear force? Okay, look here. I would like to explain the derivation here as well, because derivation will help you to give a better idea. So along the length of the beam, at some location, there is applied load P. So I am taking a portion of the beam which is having a length dx. So if I take it outside, it is the right part of the first cut, it is the left part of the second cut. This length is equal to dx, applied load is P. So according to our sign convention, V should be taken downside on the left side, and here we should take V upside as V plus dV. Okay, so to get the relationship between V and P, we should take the condition that sigma Fi is equal to 0. This gives us V plus dV minus V minus P is equal to 0. This gives us dV is equal to P. That means change of shear force is equal to magnitude of applied point load. Change of shear force is equal to magnitude of applied point load. So based upon this, we're going to build the shortcut. It can help you to draw the shear force diagram very fast if there are only point loads acting on the beam. Kindly copy this. After this, I'll explain the shortcut. So just remember the result, that change of shear force is equal to magnitude of applied point load. Okay, just remember that. First listen here. I'll give you the statement. You can copy from the board. This diagram says that if you are drawing shear force diagram from left side to right side, upward acting point loads will give rise to decrease of shear force. Downward acting point loads will give rise to increase of shear force. Same way, if you are drawing the shear force diagram from right side to left side, then upside acting point loads will give rise to increase of shear force, and downward acting point loads will give rise to decrease of shear force. Okay? Understood? I'm writing on the statement, you can copy. So this is a shortcut number 5. I'm hoping that you're all putting all these shortcuts into boxes. So when you refer to this chapter, these 5 boxes should be clearly distinguishable from the remaining text of the notes, text of the whole chapter, because shortcuts will play a vital role. I'll show questions where you're going to reduce your calculation time using these shortcuts. Kindly copy it first. I'll take some examples. So look here how exactly I'm applying the shortcut. I'm going with the first example. Cantilever beam with point load at the free end. So you have the free body diagram like this. So here moments are acting and point loads are acting. There is no uniformly distributed load along the length, so you can apply this shortcut. So here, if I am drawing the shear force diagram from left side to right side, so from left side to right side, upward acting force will cause decrease of shear force, downward acting force will cause increase of shear force. From left side I am starting. Okay, so I am starting from origin. All of a sudden, upside acting force came. Upside acting shear force will cause decrease of shear force. Initial value of shear force is 0. So change itself is equal to the final value. So you'll get minus W. All of a sudden it changes to minus W. From here till just before this W, there is no applied point load, so it will be remaining same. But once it reaches here, downward acting force is there. So here the value is minus W, initial value. All of a sudden downward is acting, so downward force will cause positive change of shear force. So initially is minus W, which is V. So this is dV. So both will add up to 0. You will get the shape of the shear force diagram like that. Understand? So this diagram gives you the shape of the shear force diagram here. This shortcut gives you the shape of the shear force diagram. Clear? But this will not say clearly whether shear force at x is equal to L is minus W or 0. because it's showing you a vertical line is there, so that can cause confusion, but at least you'll get the shape of the diagram. Okay, in the same way, if you draw the same thing from right side to left side, you'll get the same answer. From right side to left side, if you come, all of a sudden downward force is acting, which will cause decrease of shear force. So suddenly jump will come, suddenly it will go to a below value. Then after this, it will go on like this. So it will go on like this, and all of a sudden upside force is there. Upside force will cause increase. So initial value is minus W, increase is plus W. It will become 0. So whether you draw from right side or left side, you'll get the same answer. Understand? Same way, I'll take another example. Point loads example, that is cantilever beam with point load in the middle. So with the point load is acting in the middle, it is like this. It is X, it is 0, it is L. So from here to here, if you draw left side to right side, we will follow these arrow marks. Upside load is acting, W upside, negative. So this is acting at L by 2. So till L by 2, there is no point load. So there will be no change like this. All of a sudden at L by 2, there is downward force. So initial value V is equal to minus W. So dV, as it is acting downside, so downside force will cause increase. So dV is equal to plus W. So both will add up to 0. You'll get like this. After L by 2, there is no point load. So there will be no change of shear force. So you got the same diagram using normal method. Like this, you can take any question where there are only point loads. You can have moments and all, because existing moment can cause change of shear force. Okay, but if there are uniformly distributed loads, etc., then you cannot apply this technique completely. So this technique will be valid to draw the shear force diagram for the whole length of the beam when there are only point loads. That means load should be of point type only. Understood? Clear? You can take this question. This question is spread over multiple slides. You can take the screenshots or you can copy as well. And this question is completely based upon usage of shortcuts. So if you are not using any shortcuts to solve this question, it will take time, huge amount of time. But if you are using shortcuts, it will not take much time. You can understand after solving it. Kindly take the screenshots or copy the question. It's the first slide. Once it's over, please let me know. I'll give the next slide. So the slide is over. So I guess you people are taking screenshots. That's good. Take the second slide. Yeah, the answer for this question is A. If you just use the shortcut we discussed just now, just by using this shortcut, you can answer this question. Okay, but in fact, this question is based on two shortcuts. The last two shortcuts we studied. Yeah, Chandresh, your concern is very appropriate. You will be getting opposite signs. That means wherever we get, according to our sign convention, wherever we are getting positive value of shear force, there in the question or in the options, negative value of shear force is there. Wherever we are going to get negative, they are showing us it to be positive. So the sign convention which we are using and the sign convention which they have followed is different. But I would like to show this question because whatever sign convention we use, the answer for the question will not change, because they will be asking you magnitude or they will be asking you a question like this where matching is done. Okay, so sign convention, there is no strict rule. There is an agreement that like let's follow this sign convention, but there is no strict rule. To make you people understand, I kept this question. Okay, so please don't worry when you get opposite sign for shear forces, because the only difference is the sign convention which they are following. That's it. So the answer for this question is A. So if you see here in the list 2, in the first loading condition, there is uniformly distributed load L by 4 from left side, L by 4 from right side. So we can't apply the shortcut there. If you go to the second loading condition, there are only point loads given by Q by 2, Q by 2 respectively. So you can apply the shortcut here because only point loads are there. If you see the list number 2, so list 2, if you are going with the second loading condition, it's given that the beam is experiencing Q by 2. This is Q. This is Q by 2. So here if you see, they're given this length is equal to L by 4. This is equal to L by 4. This is L. So you have to apply equilibrium condition to get the values of these two reaction forces. But if you see this diagram, it's very obvious that it is symmetric about the center. If it is symmetric about the center, this reaction force, both should be same. Okay? Both should be equal. Understand? And other thing is, both the forces are acting from downside towards upside. So whatever the downward forces are acting here, that should be halved to get each and every force. So total downward force is Q plus Q by 2 plus Q by 2, so it becomes 2Q. 2Q by 2, 2Q by 2, it becomes Q and Q. So here there is a point out of Q upside, and here also there is a point out of Q upside. Now if you draw the shear force diagram for this, so from left side to right side I'm drawing. Here at this location, downside force is acting, Q by 2 is acting, so shear force will be positive. So we'll have plus Q by 2. It goes on like this. Here upside Q is there. So from here upside Q means negative change of shear force. So plus Q by 2 minus Q. So plus Q by 2 minus Q means minus Q by 2. It goes on like this. At the center there is a downward force of Q. Downward force of Q means plus Q. So minus Q by 2 plus Q. So plus Q by 2. Again we'll get into this thing. Again we come here. It goes on like this. And here upside Q is there. Upside means negative change. So plus Q by 2 minus Q, it becomes minus Q by 2. Again like this. And here there is Q by 2 downside. So Q by 2 downside means plus Q by 2. So minus Q by 2 plus Q by 2 like this. So this is similar to the option number C. The only thing is reverse sign convention is used. That's it. So for list 2, option is C. So this is option number C. So for C, it is equal to 2. Okay? In the same way, if you see the option number 3 or list 2, third loading condition, throughout the length of the beam, there is uniformly distributed load. So we can't apply the shortcut there. So let's go to the next one. Fourth loading condition, list number 2. So there are only point loads, so we can apply this condition. So if I take that, it is given like this. There is Q by 2 here. There is Q by 2 here. So here, this distance is L by 4. This distance is L by 4. Again, symmetricity, you will get Q by 2 here and Q by 2 here. Now if you draw the shear force diagram, this is V, this is X, this is 0, and we have locations where these applied loads are there. So Q by 2 acting downside from left side. So positive change. So plus Q by 2. It goes on like this. Here Q by 2 upside. Negative change. So plus Q by 2 minus Q by 2 0. It becomes like this. It goes on like this. Q by 2 upside. So 0 plus dV. So dV is minus dV minus Q by 2 here. It becomes like this. It goes on like this, and here it becomes 0. So if you see here, this is matching with option number D. So for option D, it is equal to 4. So for C and D, we got the answers. So if you see the options, we can easily say the answer is A. Clear? So you can give the answer like this. Instead of using the shortcut, if you try to draw the shear force diagram, so there are multiple point loads in between the supports or in between the ends of the beam. So you have to do multiple cuts. So the conventional method will take huge amount of time. Understood? So wherever shortcut is valid, you should be applying it. Okay? Clear? So we are able to get the answer for this question just by using one shortcut. Okay? We can get the answers for remaining two options as well. That is option number A and option number B as well. Okay? So in option number A and B, if you see, I want you people to check for this first loading condition and third loading condition in this list number 2. In the list number 2, I am rubbing these two. Okay, I want to explain other two as well to make you people know that they also can be solved using shortcuts. The last button shortcut we discussed. Okay, that is slope of the shear force diagram is equal to load intensity. I am rubbing this. I hope everybody have copied. Shall I rub it? Anybody want to copy, or anybody? I see everybody got the answer. If anybody wants to copy this, you can take a screenshot. Let me know if you can rub it or not. So I'm taking the first loading condition, list number 2. So list 2, first loading condition. The diagram is given like this. So there is a uniformly distributed load of Q Newton per meter in this region. In this region also same. And here we have reaction forces. So obviously total will come out to be like this, QL by 4 will come. Anyways, if you see here, throughout this region, load intensity is equal to Q. Throughout this length of the beam, load intensity is equal to Q. So throughout this region, slope of the shear force diagram should be equal to Q, or magnitude should be equal to Q. So in this region, slope should be equal to Q. Here, intensity is equal to 0, slope should be equal to 0, and here if you see, slope should be equal to Q. So as we already understood that for list 2 and 4, option C and D are booked, or option C are already used. So either option A is correct or option B is correct. If you see option A and B, slope of the shear force diagram is 0 from here to here in option number B of list 1, or second shear force diagram in list number 1. Are you able to recognize that? Everybody. It is some non-zero, non-zero and 0 here. So strictly speaking, the second loading condition will be working there. So the diagram is like this. So slope here is equal to Q. So here slope is equal to 0. Here slope is equal to again Q or minus Q. Actually here it should be minus Q. I mean the magnitude there. So the option number B is for the list 1. I mean for the first loading condition, list number 1. Are you able to recognize? In the same way, if you see the third loading condition, throughout the length of the beam, the intensity is equal to Q only. So third loading condition, throughout the length of the beam, the intensity is equal to Q. So you have the reaction force on the bottom side here. So obviously total QL by 2 will come, because symmetricity is there. So throughout the length we have the slope as Q. So throughout the length we have intensity as Q. So throughout the length of the shear force diagram, slope should be Q only. So if you see this option A in list number 1, the diagram is given like this. I'll put with a different color. The diagram is given like this. Slope actually is minus Q. I can put it as Q because we are concerned about magnitude. Here also minus Q. Here also minus Q. So you see throughout the length, same slope is there. You're able to understand, everybody? Clear? So like this we can get the answer. So if you are unable to get the answer for any question due to usage of one shortcut, you can check for other shortcuts and you can get the answer. Clear? So this question, if you are not using shortcut, it can take time up to 30 to 45 minutes. Understand? Instead of that, if you are not using conventional method, but if you are going by shortcuts, you can get the answer within 5 minutes. Understand? So there's a huge difference. So if you are not thinking right, then only you will be staying behind the competition. Clear? So that's the reason why initially at the time of the initial stage of the or initial part of the the second chapter itself, I said that shortcuts are very much important as compared to the conventional method. So both are having equal importance. So wherever conventional method should be used, you should use conventional method or traditional method. Wherever shortcuts are valid, you should apply the shortcut. Otherwise, you will be wasting your time. I hope everybody is clear. No doubt is there.